Welcome back to the Rachel Beth Jewellery podcast show. I'm Rachel Lake, your host, the founder and the creative director at Rachel Beth Jewellery. Today I'm thrilled to have a special guest with us, Sarah, the co-owner of Noosa Picnics and Proposals. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rachel. Pretty excited to be here.
Amazing. Okay, let's dive right in. For listeners who might not be familiar, can you give us a bit of background about Noosa Picnics and Proposals?
Yeah, sure. So we have actually only just bought the business ourselves. Noosa Picnics has been running for about 15 years up on the Sunshine Coast, and the opportunity to purchase the business sort of presented itself to us. Was actually how Jake proposed to me back in March. So it was sort of ended up building a bit of relationship with the owner. And anyway, the opportunity presented itself as I was a real estate agent, and she sort of just asked if I knew anyone who would want to purchase it. So yes, we took over probably about 4 weeks ago now. Oh. And it's been quite a journey so far, which I'm actually really enjoying.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Yeah. That's a beautiful story. Now let's talk about creating the perfect proposal. What are the key elements that make a proposal truly special?
Yeah, it is. There's an element of personalisation that goes into this. So every couple has their own story. And my belief is that a proposal should reflect that. We do focus on bringing in elements of each individual couple. So in the planning, I suppose, process, I'm just making sure that it's tailored specifically to the couple. These things range from like settings to decors to favorite flowers to favorite colors, things like that.
Amazing. And so, personalization is definitely key. And what are some trends in proposal settings that you've noticed?
Beach proposals. Yeah. Obviously, being on the Sunshine Coast, it's winter, 25 degrees and balmy.
Amazing.
There's so that sort of luxury boho style picnic on the beach is just really popular up here. There's a few hinterland locations that are really popular as well, and there's obviously quite a lot of botanical gardens and bits and pieces between the beach and the hinterland up on the Sunshine Coast. So those types of picnics have been increasingly popular, I think, over the last 6 months, but also from what I can see in booking histories as well.
Yeah, amazing. That sounds amazing. And I can imagine that proposal photography is a big part of it as well.
Yeah, we got proposal photography done, and I would 100% recommend it.
Yeah.
Really important, however, to make sure that we've got a photographer that can capture the moment discreetly.
Yes.
The genuine reactions and we work with a particular photographer, and her ability to just capture the actual moment of the proposal is just like unbelievable. Oh. And it's just like, for me, our moment is something that I'll keep forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's talk about the planning process. How do you coordinate everything so it's seamless for your clients?
Well, we do initially just start with, obviously with the proposal process, I'm talking to the guys first. Yep. So I try to capture a bit of a vision, and then from there is when I start coordinating with other vendors. So I sort of just do like an initial consultation or an initial conversation, gather an idea of what they're wanting, and then going across and collating it so that it goes smoothly. We do try to underpromise and overdeliver, and we do take care of the details. So essentially you're just walking up, proposing, sitting down, enjoying your picnic, and then upping and leaving. So you're not having to worry about anything else in between.
That sounds like a lot of work, but also I'm sure very rewarding. And what are some of the challenges you face in the proposal planning industry, and how do you overcome them?
Weather on the Sunshine Coast. We can go from being like this morning that's beautiful to torrential downpour in the space of half an and it's happened. I do try to implement some form of backup plan if the weather is looking a little bit risky. So we do follow weather trends and patterns, and we do generally try to organize a backup plan. Obviously, when couples are on holidays and we're trying to keep it a secret, that can be a little bit hard when the weather isn't playing ball. But realistically, regardless of issues that we have come up, it's so enjoyable and so rewarding watching just the joy that comes out of people in that moment of proposal.
Oh, I bet. It must be just magical. And for those listeners who might be planning a proposal, do you have any advice for finding the perfect location?
Biggest recommendation is choosing a location that's meaningful to you. It could be I've got one that's a first date coming up, a place that you've always wanted to visit together. Noosa and the Sunshine Coast is a holiday destination, so it's obviously quite a desirable place for people to go. Also, focus on the moment rather than the outcome. Yeah. So it's more about the thought and the effort and what goes into it that counts the most in these particular moments with couples.
That's great advice. And before we wrap up, any final tips for making the proposal truly unforgettable?
For the guys, don't be afraid to just let your emotions show. It's a moment that you'll both remember. It is very personal and it is very heartfelt. And don't forget to think about the ring. We need to make sure we're finding out what the partner likes without it being, without giving away the surprise, and a little bit of research into, perfecting the ring does go a long way in a proposal. I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Sarah. It's been wonderful having you on the show and learning all about creating the perfect proposal. And for listeners, be sure to check out Noosa Picnics and Proposals for an unforgettable proposal experience.
Thank you.
No worries. And
thanks, Rachel.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Stay tuned for more tips and insights on the Rachel Beth Jewellery podcast show. Thanks for listening.
Thanks.